I am placing blocks and shit 'cause I'm in fucking Minecraft. Today is Friday. Tomorrow is the first day of the wild card round of the NFL playoffs 2025. Join me as today we make our casual predictions of who's going to win it all this year. It's been a crazy year. We've had Stephon Diggs side-eye. We've had Will Levis meme coming out every single week. We've had Kansas City Devil Magic. We've had Lions already franchise rising up from the dust and the dirt. Now here we are. This is where the season truly begins. All right, guys, let's start by predicting the wild card round. I'm gonna start in the AFC since those games are tomorrow. We got Broncos Bills, a matchup in which I like the Broncos this year. I think they're good, even though I'm a Chiefs fan and I hate the Denver Donkeys. Bo Nix has looked excellent for a rookie. Sean Payton has had everybody playing pretty well over there. Defense is pretty good. They're nasty. Offense is humming pretty well with Cortland Sutton healthy and on the field. However, I think that tomorrow their Mickey Mouse run comes to an end at the hands of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, as we all know, has been playing like Superman this year. He's the only man who could defeat my hunky poo one-on-one. I think that the Bills defense is a little bit sus. However, I don't think that the Broncos are going to be the team to beat them. Bills are moving on to the next round. Next, we got Steelers Ravens. This is the tale of two halves to a season. As the season comes to a close, there's teams that are trending up and there's teams that are trending down. While the Baltimore Ravens have been strong all season, they're getting better. Their defense is meshing. Their coverage unit is playing even better than they were at the beginning of the season. And the Steelers. Oh my fucking god, the Steelers. They have been a fucking tire fire in like the last 4 weeks of the season. Their stout running game with Najee Harris is all but vanished. Magic between Russ and George Pickens has vanished. Their defense looks like they can't stop a nosebleed despite having fucking TJ Watt. I think the Ravens might win this by 10 plus points, guys. It's gonna be ugly for the Steelers. I'm sorry. Next, we got the Houston Texans and the Los Angeles Chargers. Houston Texans are interesting. They're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys, where they've got all this talent and they're underperforming. I mean, this team was supposed to be nasty coming into this year. CJ Stroud having a giga sophomore slump. Nico Collins, is he hurt right now? Okay, he's not injured. They've got no Tank Dell, no Stephon Diggs. They do have Nico Collins. They have Dalton Schultz, and they have Joe Mixon. Is their O-line still banged up? I'm not sure. I don't really think it matters, and here's why. Chargers have Justin Herbert. I feel like their quarterback is more battle-tested. I think that Jim Harbaugh is going to have his team more ready to play. I think that it's a coaching quarterback mismatch. I don't think it's a very hard decision to make. I think the Chargers come away with this one, and I think they move on to the next round. I think now we're going to move on to the NFC, which those games are going to be on Sunday. Eagles, Packers. In this division, it's interesting. There's two teams that I really feel are just complete powerhouses in this division. Two-horse race between the Lions and the Eagles. I don't feel like any of the other teams are particularly close. Even Minnesota, even though their record suggests that they're an elite team, I don't believe that. But when it comes to the Eagles-Packers game, do I think the Packers could win it? I do. I think that the Eagles randomly this season have had very uncharacteristically bad performances, suggesting that they weren't prepared for the game, but I don't think the wild card round is going to be one of those. I think that the Eagles are going to advance over the Packers. The Packers have some good players. I don't trust their defense to stop a nosebleed, and honestly, for having Josh Jacobs, their run game isn't as impressive as you'd think it would be. So that's why I'm going to go with the Eagles to win that one. Next game, we've got Buccaneers versus Washington Commanders. This is a bit of a tough one for me. You've got the red-hot rookie, Jaden Daniels, facing up against battle-tested Baker Mayfield. Neither team defense really impresses me. Probably going to be a shootout. This season, Washington is kind of dominated with the run game and then played off of it to get the receivers wide open for Jaden Daniels. This thing's going to be a shootout, guys. However, I think that experience is going to pull through in this matchup, and the team with more playoff experience is the Buccaneers. I mean, Todd Bowles is going to dial up some nasty blitzes Jaden Daniels will never have seen before. The personnel doesn't really matter as much as the scheme in this case. I think that they're going to get pressure on Jaden Daniels. They're going to get him uncomfortable. He's not going to be able to play the way he wants to. Also, Baker Mayfield has experience in the playoffs. He's won playoff games before. I think that's going to come to a head, and the Buccaneers are going to win this game and move on to the next round. In the final game of wildcard round, we've got the LA Rams against the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, this might upset some people, but I think that the 2024 Minnesota Vikings are frauds. They have been in a battle-tested division, I'll give them that, but I don't think that their quarterback is capable of taking this team farther than this. I think that Sam Darnold has started seeing ghosts again. I mean, I watched that game between them and the Lions last week. He really choked when they needed him most. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Aaron Jones is banged up. So how are they going to run the ball? Yep, Aaron Jones is limited in practice as of today. Ty Chandler misses practice with an illness. What? They have any running backs that are going to play? I feel like Justin Jefferson is all you got on offense right now. And as great as he is, I don't think that's going to be enough. Now let's talk a little bit about the Rams. I love them, dude. They are the definition of the X factor in these playoffs. They've got a hot, young defense who can fly around, tackle, make plays when they need to. They've got a veteran quarterback with weapons all around him. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think that the LA Rams are going to edge out and take the dub on this one and move on to the next round. All right, guys, let's move on to the divisional round here, where the number 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs are going to take on divisional rival, the Chargers, who they've swept this year. And I think, without having to say much, I think they're going to sweep them still. It's going to be 3-0 for this season. I think the Kansas City Chiefs, not easily, but are going to get the win on this one and move on. This next matchup, however, not going to be easy. Not going to be easy to predict this one. Baltimore Ravens have like a god squad, top to bottom. They're an elite roster, probably like top 2 or 3. The Bills, I mean, it's just the God Squad versus Superman and Josh Allen. However, Lamar has been playing, he has better stats than Josh as of right now, as of entering the playoffs, but I mean, I think Josh is doing a little bit more with less, if we're being honest. However, I think that Lamar should still win the MVP. He's just putting up better numbers, historic numbers, you know. It's not that hard to figure out. But, I mean, I think the 1-2 punch of Derrick Henry and Lamar is going to I don't think they're going to be able to be stopped by this Buffalo defense. While, you know, James Cook has been good, I feel like the Ravens defense is going to be better at stopping the run. I feel like Baltimore is just not a good matchup for the Bills, just because I feel like the weakness of the Bills is the run defense at the end of the day. I mean, let me look up the stats here to make sure I'm not just yapping. Okay, actually the Bills are allowing around middle of the pack, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop that 1-2 punch of Lamar and Derrick Henry. Their passing defense is like 24th in the league. I mean, I just don't see them being able to stop this Ravens offense. I think the Ravens are going to move on over them. It's a tough decision, but this is just what I think at the end of the day. As for the NFC, let's start with Eagles-Bucks. This is a rematch of a few years ago. However, Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Bucks back then, and the Eagles defense was not what it is now. This Eagles defense is nasty. I think Mike Evans is going to find a new father this game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think that the Eagles are actually going to have an easier matchup here than they are against the Packers, and because of that, I think that Saquon, Jalen Hurts, that nasty offensive line, 2 great receivers are going to move on over the Bucks. Rams-Lions. Can you imagine? Matt Stafford already kind of got his revenge on the Lions by getting his Super Bowl ring with the Rams. He made Jared Goff look like an idiot, made him look like a civilian out there on the field, and now it's Jared Goff's turn. I think that the Lions are just an offensive powerhouse. They have relatively easily the best offense in the game, in the league. Sorry. The Rams are kind of a scrappy underdog, but in this league, scrappy underdogs usually don't last for long. I think the Lions and Jared Goff are going to get their revenge. Let's move on to the AFC Championship here. Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens choked this matchup, I think twice before, if I'm remembering that correctly. Maybe only one time last year. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Lamar probably has a chip on his shoulder. Chiefs have one of the best run defenses in the game. Ravens have the best. However, I don't think the Chiefs are too keen on running the ball. They more use their short passing game as like a substitute for the run game. Will Mahomes be able to do it against this staunch Baltimore defense? I don't think they will. The Chiefs have, you know, they had Hollywood Brown come back. We've got D-Hop in place of injured Rashee Rice now. And then we've got the X Factor, Xavier Worthy. And on top of that, we've got Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. So do the Ravens have the guys who can cover all of them? I don't think so. I think that our defense is also really great against the run. Nick Bolton, excellent tackler. I've seen him wrap up Derrick Henry's legs so many times and take him down. I'm not super duper worried about that. I think if anything, Lamar in the passing game are going to have to be great in order to beat us. And I think for the second year in a row, it's not going to be able to work. I think that the Chiefs are going to advance to the Super Bowl in this matchup. Call me biased, call me casual, call me whatever you want, but I think the Chiefs are going back to back to back. We got a three-peat on the line. Anyways, over to the NFC Championship side, we've got two insanely stacked rosters, Lions and the Eagles, 1 and the 2 seed. The Lions have been banged up on defense, but they've still been getting the job done. Their defense is scrappy. They'll get takeaways when they need it. And the team is really led by their insane powerhouse offense, which is lacking David Montgomery. That might actually come into play in the playoffs as a weakness for them. I mean, if anybody is going to make some goal line stands, it's going to be this Eagles defense. I think that the Eagles actually match up relatively well against the Lions. I don't think they've played this year, have they? We don't have anything to go off of in that category. Yeah, they have not played each other this year. This is a little bit of a tough matchup to predict. I think Jalen Hurts, Sirianni, and that elite defense against Dan Campbell, the Lions, and their powerhouse offense, led by Jared Goff, a field general. He's not really an X factor, not really an insane difference maker, but he's getting the job done. I feel like in this game, Dan Campbell's going to go for it on the wrong 4th down, and it's going to bite them in the ass. I think the Eagles are actually going to advance here. They're going to push Jalen Hurts' fat ass into the end zone. Saquon Barkley is going to run all over that defense, who have been banged up all year. I think the lack of David Montgomery is going to rear its head in this game. And so my Super Bowl matchup is going to be a rematch from 2 years ago. Chiefs and the Eagles. And then once again, this is going to be old Patrick Mahomes, little old underdog Patrick Mahomes versus the insanely stacked, well put together Eagles roster. I'm sure the Chiefs would be an underdog in this game. Everybody'd be picking the Eagles just like usual. We're picking against the Chiefs. But you know what? My big hunky Kermit the Frog goat is going to pull it out and take the season. That's what I think. If there's any justice in this world, this is how the playoffs are going to turn out. And the three-peat's happening, boys. Three-peat's happening. And I don't want to hear anything otherwise. But yeah, that is if the NFL isn't scripted. Now, you'll allow me. How do I reset this? Who did we have? We had Lions, Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens. I think the Chiefs are still going to make it. If the NFL is scripted, here's how it's going to play out. Okay, Lions are going to beat the Eagles. Okay, let me cook for a minute here, guys. Lions are going to beat the Eagles, and they're going to go up against the enemy, the antagonist, the main antagonist of the show known as the NFL, and the Kansas City Chiefs. And already franchised Lions will turn everything around. They'll turn history on its head and defeat the great enemy, Chiefs, and win the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. But you know, that's only if the NFL's scripted, guys, which, you know, it very well could be. But guys, those are my playoff predictions. Leave a like, subscribe if you found some laughs in here. If you enjoyed the commentary, you fell asleep watching this video, I thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.